Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy CJ Beasley here, coach of the Philadelphia Phiones, bringing you guys our Week 1 battle against Mr. Nice Guy, the coach of the Snowpoint Glaceons. I know I didn't do a draft analysis video, but I will be doing kind of a draft rundown real quick for you guys. So let's just hop right into it. So first we got G.O.A.T as our first Tier 1 pick. And note that this draft league is it allows like certain Ubers. So the point bases are kind of off. So as you'll see shortly, I have 3 Tier 1s and then 4 Tier 3s. And it's just kind of how the points ran down. So first off, we have Angel our Jirachi, always a solid pick. Next, we have Dark Knight our Gliscor. Then we have Wasp our Rabombi. And as you can see, these are all based off of superhero comic book characters. And then we have Electra, the Shiny Greninja, which is female specifically. And then we have our boy Thanos, the X-Cloud. And then Man-Thing, the Cradilly. Then we have, can't really click on it, but then we have Tapu Fini, which is named Namor. And then we have Fin Fang Foom, if you guys know what that means. If you guys understand that reference, I guess. Good on you. But we got Fin Fang Foom, our Dragonite. And then God of Thunder, the Jolteon. Pyro, the Shiny Chandelure. And then Deathstroke, the Shiny Glade, Mega Glade, specifically. So that's the team. And then my opponent's team is going to consist of Skarmory, Ninetales, Vaporeon, Darmanitan, Registeel, Thundurus, Nidoqueen, Alolan Persian, Megalodios, Typenol, and Galvantula. So the first thing I noticed building against this team is that my team is very, very weak to a Scarf Darmanitan. Well, not very weak, but it doesn't like switching in, and the best switch-ins I have are Gliscor and Tapu Fini. As you can see, I brought both those. But without reliable recovery, none of my Pokemon, except for my Flash Flyer, Chandelure, wants to take a Flare Blitz from this thing. So that thing was definitely a big problem for my team. Something else I noticed is that his highest base tier Mon that wasn't Scarfed is going to be 115 with the Alolan Persian, which meant that my Mega Glade speed tied with Megalodios and got outsped by Alolan Persian. That was it. Everything else it outsped, so I thought it was a really good bring here. But let's just jump right into the team. So first, we got Dark Knight, our Gliscor, with the Toxic Orb and Poison Heal, with Earthquake, U-Turn, Roost, and Stealth Rocks. The speed is to outspeed I believe, timid Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen was a really big problem for my team, so outspeeding that thing was a big priority, at least for this month. Earthquake pretty much hits everything. The things off the ground I don't really want to stay in against either way. So we got Earthquake. U-Turn is just for nice pivot because there's a lot of things that this baits in, like Ninetales is always a free switch in. Vaporeon's always a good switch in. Neither of those want to be toxic, and Earthquake does a good chunk, but they're still like decent switch-ins. Roost is for longevity, so is a Toxic Orb with Poison Heal. And the Stealth Rocks. I was considering doing Knockoff over U-Turn, just because he had the Skarmory, but I thought U-Turn for the pivot was a lot nicer for my team, especially because I have the Mega Glade, which is going to be a sweeping set, as you'll see. So pivoting around into just keep momentum on my side was a really big deal for me, so I put U-Turn on there. And then the Stealth Rocks, because everything really doesn't want to switch in on Stealth Rocks besides his Regigigas. Or not Regigigas, I'm sorry, Registeel. So Stealth Rocks were really good against this team. I thought they were like very vital. Breaking sashes on Galvantula for my Mega Glade, and also bringing the Darmanitan down, just so it couldn't keep pivoting on me and just keep switching in and out, which it could do freely otherwise. So that's our Gliscor. It's pretty fast and pretty offensive for being Gliscor, but it tanks every hit from a Darmanitan, excluding a Flare Blitz. But if he locks himself into Flare Blitz and I know he's Choice Scarf, I can easily go on to my Tapu Fini or my Chandelure. But to go in Chandelure is a little bit more risky because unless if I know he's Choice Scarf. So that's the Gliscor set. Our Tapu Fini set, Nammer, is going to be Leftovers with the Misty Surge, obviously. Scald, Nature's Madness, Toxic, and Defog. With 244 HP, 132 defense, 20 special attack, 108 special defense with a calm nature, and then 4 speed. So this bulk allows me to live a +3 Psyshock and a +3 Psychic. It also allows me to live I believe, a Life Orb Sludge Wave and a Life Orb Thunder from a Galvantula from the Thunder and the Sludge Wave from Nidoqueen. And this thing is also primary switch into Darmanitan, like I was talking about earlier. Having Scald on there is just a nice chip against everything. It doesn't really touch Vaporeon, but Vaporeon doesn't really touch me, especially with the Misty Surge up, so I don't really mind. Nature's Madness, I can click that on anything, cut its HP in half, which is really good for Mega Glaze sweeping in the endgame. And then Toxic is specifically there for the Mega Latias, because a Calm Mind, Roost, Shadow Ball, Psyshock set is really good against my team. So I went Toxic over Haze or Taunt, just so I could whittle that thing down. And even if it got my Tapu Fini, I could always Revenge Kill it with my Jirachi or my Jolteon or anything like that. And then Defog was just to get rid of his webs because he has Galvantula. I didn't bring my own webs, as you can see. I thought all the other 6 mons were more vital than Ribombee this week, so I went with those. So this thing is, it really switches into a lot of his team, but I just got to be careful of how it gets whittled down because it switches into a lot of his team, so I can't let this go down too early. Next up, we got Pyro, the Chandelure, with Leftovers, Flash Fire, and then Shadow Ball, Fire Blast, Energy Ball, and Substitute. And as you can see, we're not very fast, and we have a lot of bulk in us. The bulk is there to live. It can live a Darmanitan Earthquake, a Jolly Darmanitan Earthquake from full. The special defense also allows, if the Ninetales isn't running Dark Pulse, it never breaks my sub, which I thought was pretty necessary. And the special defense also does some other things I'm forgetting at the moment. The speed is just there to speed creep, and then the rest I just dumped into special attack. But the speed was more to speed creep things that were trying to speed creep me. Just making sure I outsped like things like Vaporeon and stuff like that, Skarmory. And then so Shadow Ball, Fire Blast, and Energy Ball hits everything on his team. With this amount of investment in special attack, it KOs, or it has a roll about 75% chance to KO a non-bulky Darmanitan after rocks. So that's also another reason why Darmanitan, I wanted the rocks up for Darmanitan. And Substitute I thought was really good this week because Chandelure pressures a lot of things out, like Skarmory, Registeel, stuff like that. So I could easily set up a substitute and just get free damage off of anything. And then the leftovers are just for longevity, especially behind the substitute, just classic leftover substitute set. So this, I'm recording the team builder after the battle went down. But you'll see this set put in a lot more work than I thought it would. I thought it would put in a lot of work, but this put in way more work than I ever thought it would. So that's my Chandelure set. And then we got Angel, our Jirachi, up next with the Choice Scarf, Serene Grace, with Iron Head, Heart Stamp, U-Turn, and Trick. Max attack, almost max speed with the Jolly Nature, and then the rest just poured into bulk. The speed is South Speed, a Jolly Scarf Darmanitan. As I was talking about earlier, it's a really big threat to my team. Iron Head is just general coverage. It hits pretty much everything on his team. Heart Stamp was there for the Nidoqueen lead. This was pretty much my dedicated lead, seeing that Galvantula and Nidoqueen were really strong against me. I didn't have a solid lead against either of those. So this against a against a Nidoqueen could, I believe, 3-shot a bulky one, and it could 2-shot a offensive one, as it was going for rocks. And it's a roll unless if he's Life Orb to live an Earthquake. And then so U-turn was just for pivot. And then trick was because he had so many bulky mons that really didn't appreciate getting tricked. Like Skarmory, Registeel, Vaporeon, stuff like that. So I thought it would be really good this week. Just to kind of cripple those bulky mons that want to slow my team down. And yeah, so Jirachi was pretty much my my dedicated lead, and as you can see in the battle, I do lead it. But yeah, so that's our Jirachi set. And then next up we have Deathstroke, the Mega Gallade. So it's Gallade holding the Gladite with Justified, Close Combat, Ice Punch, Shadow Sneak, and Sword Stance. With max speed and then almost max attack, but just poured forward into each bulk stat. Just because there wasn't any necessary calcs that 244 couldn't do that 252, like I needed 252 to do. So I just decided just to put a little bit in the bulks just for small damage. So we have Close Combat and Ice Punch as our main coverage moves. Those pretty much hit everything on his team. There's nothing that that resists both those on his team. At +2, Close Combat, KOs, Close Combat and Ice Punch pretty much one-shot everything. Shadow Sneak was there in case he goes Mega Lottie. If I don't want to risk the speed tie, I just need damage off on it. I can just click Shadow Sneak and get a good chunk off, especially if my Sword Stance is up. It's also good against our Mantan to just get a little bit of chip. It does do 50%. So if he takes 2 turns of rocks after a Sword Stance, it'll do 50%. So I can KO him with that. And so this was pretty much my win con going into the game. It doesn't ever actually, spoiler alert, it doesn't ever actually touch the field in the battle. At least to set up. But yeah, this was, going into the battle, this was my win con. Because it pretty much dealt with this whole team. The only checks he really had was Mega Latias, if he was bulky, or Persian, because it could outspeed and just foul play me, or anything Scarf like Darmanitan. So I thought this was really strong, and I had switch into all those things. So yeah, I definitely want to go with this set. And then lastly, we have our Jolteon, God of Thunder, with Life Orb, Volt Switch, Volt Absorb with Volt Switch, HP Ice, Shadow Ball, and Fake Tears. The Fake Tears tech was actually one of my guys in the Discord's suggestion. Well, we all kind of came up with it, but I'm running it because after a Fake Tears, nothing really wants to take a hit from Jolteon. If his Mega Latias isn't terribly bulky, a Fake Tears into a Shadow Ball will OHKO it, as long as it doesn't have any Calm Minds up. A Fake Tears into HP Ice will KO his Thundurus. Fake Tears into Volt Switch, Fake Tears into Shadow Ball will KO his Galvantula. Fake Tears into HP Ice will KO his Nidoqueen, or at least get it close. I can't remember the exact calc on a bulky one. So yeah, so I thought Fake Tears was really good. I could run Thunderbolt this week, but I didn't see it necessary. There wasn't really any calcs that made it more worthwhile than just clicking Fake Tears into a move. And it definitely put on a lot of offensive pressure. So if anything switched in, I could just Fake Tears in and scare it back out and just Volt Switch off of it. And then the spread is max special attack, 140 speed with the timid nature. Basically just to outspeed his fastest mom, which is Persian. I didn't really find anything necessary else to outspeed besides that. And then the special defense bulk was for the Galvantula. Because if the Galvantula was 252 timid without a Life Orb, it would only be a 3-shot with Bug Buzz on my Jolteon. So I thought that was good, a necessary investment. So yeah, let's stop wasting time. Let's get right into the battle, and I'll see you guys in there. Alright guys, so we're back with the battle. Before I start, I want to give a shout out to Kohanx. I hope I didn't butcher that. But he is the founder of this league, the RWL. He is a great battler. In the other league that me and him are both in, well, I'm not in the league, but I'm in that Discord. He is undefeated, so definitely go check him out. I'll link his Twitch and his YouTube down below. He does sometimes stream his battles, so definitely go check him out. Anyways, so getting into our battle, we see he brings Vaporeon, Galvantula, Typenol, Alolan Ninetales, Skarmory, and Darmanitan. I definitely didn't see the Vaporeon and Typenol coming at all. If anything, I thought the Nidoqueen and the Mega Latias were going to come, which is really strange to me that they didn't come, since they had such great matchups against my team. But hey, I'm not mad about it. So like I said, my dedicated lead is G.O.A.T, so we'll get right into this. So I'm going to be leading G.O.A.T, and we will see what he leads. Pretty much, just looking at his team, I knew that Chandelure was going to put in some good work. So we see I lead G.O.A.T here, and as we see, he leads his Vaporeon. So here I can easily just U-turn out. Nothing's stopping me from doing that, so I'm going to just click U-turn. It was free here. And then I know I can easily just go out into my Tapu Fini. There's really nothing he can do about that. Worst case scenario, he's Hidden Power Grasses or something like that, and it's not going to do much at all to me. So we do see just a Scald come out. And doing the damage calc from that, I see that it's hard to tell, but I see he doesn't have a lot of special attack in it. So right here, I'm just going to click Nature's Madness, which I missed, which was very unfortunate, as he goes for Baton Pass. It sucked that I missed, because if I would have landed that, my Chandelure would have came in and just clicked Energy Ball, but unfortunately I missed, which wasn't that big of a deal in the end, but it sucked then. So here I'm just going to switch out. He brings in his Galvantula. I'm just going to switch out into my Jolteon. Worst case scenario, I thought he went for Sticky Webs, and at that point, it's whatever. So he actually goes for the Thunderbolt here, which I can tank. So I go for the Fake Tears, just to kind of pressure him out. And here he goes for the Bug Buzz. And as you can see, based off of that damage, he crits me. And then we see his Life Orb, which is bittersweet. Life Orb means he's dealing more damage, but then again, he's not sashed. So I don't need to worry about that for my my Glade. So here we just see him go out into his type Null, and I click Shadow Ball, which obviously doesn't touch him, which wasn't that big of a deal, because I can easily just Volt Switch, and I calced it so I could live one more turn of Life Orb. So we live in on one, we Volt Switch out of there, and then right here we can just go into our Gliscor, just see what he wants to do. Gliscor was pretty physically tanky, and we see him go for the Sword Stance. So here I'm running some calcs. I see that nothing is going to one-shot me. At least that I could find. Return was going to be his best hit. So here I just set up my Stealth Rocks, just wanted those up for the game since he had Darmanitan, Ninetales, all that stuff, just to break potential sashes. And we see he actually goes for the Last Resort, which means, and he doesn't KO me, I live on 2, which was a mid-damage roll, but I get the Poison Heal back. But here, I decided to stand and go for the Earthquake. I could easily switch out into my Chandelure, but one, I didn't want him to double out into his Darmanitan knowing that, and two, I just want damage on this thing for the late game. We see him actually go for the Sword Stance again, which was awesome, which meant that I could easily click Earthquake again, and just get even more chip on this in case he wanted to double out. So I go for the Earthquake here. It leaves him about at 18%, 20%. It just clicks Last Resort and KOs me, which is perfect. So here we can freely, ever so freely, go out into our Chandelure and click a substitute. There's never been a more free substitute in anyone's life. So here we go into our Chandelure, and like I said, I can just click substitute with no problem at all. As he goes back out into his Vaporeon. This would have been a perfect situation where the Nature's Madness mattered, as I could have KO'd him right here, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So I get some lefties, get that substitute up, he takes some Stealth Rocks, and here I'm just going to click my Energy Ball. To a not too especially bulky, it does about 60%, and that's about how much we see it do right here. And he just goes for the Wish, actually. So I knew he wasn't going to protect because that was a losing battle for him. Shadow Ball was always going to be a free play for me. So I just clicked the Shadow Ball in case you want to go Darmanitan or Galvantula or something like that. And he actually does end up going to the Galvantula. And I know that this will do 75% unless if he's like super defensively invested. So I just click the Shadow Ball. It does pick off the Galvantula, so he doesn't get that wish back. And I'm sitting pretty with my substitute up. Already claimed 1 kill. Vaporeon's low. Type Null can't touch me. And so here he's going to go out to his Ninetales. And I thought that was a really strange play. The Stealth Rocks broke the potential substitute. Focus Sash if he had it. So here I can freely click Fire Blast as he sets up the Aurora Veil, and I know this will still KO through the Aurora Veil. And the Aurora Veil wasn't even that big of a deal. So I click the Fire Blast, I land it, and get rid of this Ninetales. So Chandeler's already claimed 2 KOs with that substitute still up. And it's looking to be a big threat against this team. As you can see here, I take some leftovers, which negates the hail damage. And then right here, he goes out into his Darmanitan. And I 100% expected it to be Scarfed. And he took the 25%. So I see him click Earthquake, and which is obviously going to break my substitute. And then right here, we see instead of him being Scarfed, he is actually Life Orb, which was fantastic for me. So I can just click Shadow Ball here, which is going to do about 40%, which is exactly how much it does. So we know he's not that much bulky. Or, I'm sorry, he doesn't have that much bulk. And he's slowly getting tipped away by his own hail. So here, I don't want to stay in. I don't want to lose my Chandelure since it applies so much offensive pressure. So I decided to sack my Jolteon. Jolteon wasn't really doing much anyways with the hail up, and it could only take 1 more turn of Life Orb anyways. So I just let him get my Jolteon, let him take another turn of hail, let him take another turn of Life Orb, which leaves him about, I would say like 2 HP, something like that. And this was a free switch into my Choice Scarf Jirachi to click U-turn very freely. If he stays in, I KO his Darmanitan, I can go out into Chandelure, or if he switches out, I can U-turn into Chandelure. Either way, I'm going back into Chandelure. Because at this point, he doesn't really have anything that wants to take a hit, because all he had left was a Skarmory, Vaporeon, and Type Null. So from here, this was pretty much just a clear path to victory for my Chandelure. So I'm going to U-turn out of my Chandelure, get some leftovers, take some hail. And then he's going to go out into his Skarmory. And I 100% thought I was going to outspeed it, so I just clicked Fire Blast. There wasn't really anything he could hit me with. But he's actually a fast Iron Head set, which was very surprising. And we were talking after the battle, and he said he was fast to avoid fast taunt Phineas, which is understandable. So we take him out with the Fire Blast there. He doesn't have a lot of bulk in him. So here we take leftovers, recovery, and the hail stops. And at this point, it's pretty much game over. His Type Null can't touch me. I outspeed it. I can freely click Energy Ball. And down goes the Type Null. And then, as you can see here, I'm going to take a little bit more leftovers. It doesn't really matter at this point because he has to go out into his Vaporeon. And his Vaporeon is so low that anything I click will KO it, especially after rocks like that. So I just click Energy Ball, claim my 5th kill for Chandelure. Like I said, I did not think this set would put in so much work. I knew it was going to be a good offensive pressure against him, but I did not ever think this would do so well. But I'm happy it did. So Chandelure gets on the kill leaderboard for this week. I believe it's at the top at the moment. All the battles aren't done yet, so we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Leave a like on the video, subscribe like all the YouTubers say, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.